Today, we're doing blackened salmon Caesar salad, and what sets it apart is the fish market that it comes from. All right, it's summertime, right? And summertime often means fish, fresh fish. Where do you get fresh fish? Does it come from the market? Does it come from the grocery? I mean, it could come from anywhere. In all seriousness though, fresh fish is one of the things that I really love, and I'm really passionate about seafood. So today we've got some Atlantic salmon, and then we've got some line caught fresh cod. So let's just talk about this real quick. There's awesome fish markets all over the country. You've got Pike Place in Seattle where salmon may actually hit you in the head. But then you've got local fishmongers in your market, in our market. And what you want to do is, like we've talked about before, you really get what you pay for when it comes to seafood. There's some fish that you want to avoid. Things like tilapia, in my opinion, you never really want to get. If a recipe calls for tilapia, you're going to want to substitute it with a cod, because it's basically just looking for a mild white fish. But tilapia is a bottom feeder, and it's just no good at all. Regarding salmon, if you can get wild salmon, then by all means get it, but in the US you can generally only get it a couple weeks a year. It'd be called Copper River salmon or something like that, but wild Alaskan salmon. At that point, if you can't, then a farm-raised salmon's okay, but you're gonna try to look for a Norwegian salmon. And if you can't get Norwegian or Scottish, then you go to get a Canadian. The last one that you would generally want to buy is what they call a Chilean salmon. And the reason why is they actually add orange feed to their food, and that's what makes them have the orange color. So just, you know, there's plenty of good fish markets out there. Just make sure. And one of the things is, we talk about it all the time, you know, how do you know if that fish is fresh? Well, what you do is you actually just pick it up and you smell it. And it'll tell you a lot of times when fish is going bad, it'll have like an ammonia type smell to it. And when you ask the guy at the fish counter, you know, do you mind if I smell that product? If they give you any kind of hesitation or reluctancy to do so, don't buy that product. And the one other thing that I try to avoid if I can is buying a frozen fish. Now sometimes the fish, you know, that comes from too far away, it has to be frozen, but more often than not, I try to buy fresh fish, and you want to use it right away. You know, don't keep it for multiple days. But today, what we're going to do here is a really nice summer dish with the salmon, and what we're going to do is a blackened salmon Caesar salad. And you'll see the skin's on, and I know a lot of people get intimidated about cutting the skin off, and we can do that, but I'm going to show you a trick in a minute that you'll never even have to worry about cutting the skin off. All right? All right, so I've got over here a cast iron skillet, and I've got in there, I've got a safflower oil. We've talked about oils before in the past. When you're pan searing something, you do not want to use an olive oil because it has a low smoke point, and then you'll end up getting a lot more smoke and you'll get a burnt product. So here I'm using safflower oil, cast iron pan. I've got it on. We're gonna get it nice and hot. I've got some chopped romaine lettuce. I've got some Caesar dressing. I've got some croutons, and then I've got the blackened seasoning. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna liberally season the fish on both sides. And I know it sounds weird because the skin's on there, but that's okay. We're just gonna season it on both sides. And then what we're gonna wanna do is we wanna go skin side down in the pan. Now, if you've never worked in a restaurant, you might not be used to touching hot things, so you should probably use the tongs, but I've got what we call restaurant hands, so I get used to temperature a lot more often. But you just want to have that down there, and then you want to season the other side. And so these are actually called salmon fillets. Sometimes you'll hear the term salmon steaks, but fillets tend to be more, they're more popular for sure now, but they also are just, there's less bones to deal with, and they're just better. It's tough to explain in detail. This is actually also called a fillet, but this is a fillet of cod, And then we're gonna cut that into sandwich portions. But generally, they are cut to avoid the pin bones. So, you know, obviously the spine runs where it runs. They'll cut one side of the fish, then they'll cut the other, and then just take out the bones when they can. All right, you've heard of a bull market, you've heard of a bear market, but what do they mean? A bull market is basically when the market goes up 20% or more over a sustained period of time. A bear market, the exact opposite. The market goes down 20% or more over a sustained period of time. And how do you remember it? Think about this. How does a bear kill its prey? It goes down, right? How does a bull kill its prey? It goes up. Easy way to remember it. That's what I explained to my 10-year-old. But the reason why it's so important is obviously when a bull market's going on, and we just came out of one of the longest bull runs in market history. Actually, the longest bull run that I've ever seen is when Michael Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls, but that's a different story. What we're just experiencing now is a bear market. And so that's the market has gone down 20% or more over a period of time. And these typically happen every 18 months to every 3 years over the history of the stock market. Problem is, sometimes it only takes weeks to come back. Sometimes it can take a couple months. Sometimes it can take a few years or even decades. There's been periods of time in our history that the market hasn't grown at all. Most recently, 16 years, from 1966 to 1982, the market didn't grow at all. So it's very important that you know and you have your portfolio positioned properly to protect yourself when a bear market arrives. Now, if you want to know how to more effectively position your portfolio to protect you from a bear market, email us at info@swdgroup.com and we'll show you how you can do that. Now let's jump back to the salmon. And then of course with the Caesar salad, we're just going to mix the Caesar dressing with the romaine lettuce. And then at this point, I like to season it liberally with pepper. A little bit of salt. We can toss in the croutons. And if you don't want to make the Caesar dressing or buy a salad, or chop the lettuce and do all those things, you can obviously buy one of those salad kits and it'll be perfectly fine. All right, so one side is done, so we're gonna flip them over. And they should flip over very easily. And so earlier I talked about when the skin was on, you don't have to worry about cutting it off. When you cook it down like that first, the skin will just peel right off. And just so you know, a lot of people they always think that you gotta cook your seafood all the way through or completely well done. When it comes to salmon, I'm much more of a medium person, but I'm the type of person, it's always better to undercook it than to overcook it because you can always cook it more, but you can't cook it less. So we are just about done. And let me get a bowl and we'll plate this up. So again, when you're plating, I'm always about presentation. So I try to make a nice nest, leave some negative space on the plate. Grab that beautiful piece of salmon, throw that on top. Blackened salmon seasoning.